Today's video isn't easy for me to make, but it's a necessary video because what's happening right now to me and to so many others living with functional neurological disorder is unacceptable. I want to talk about what it's really like to live with FND in the UK. Not the sugar-coated version, but the reality. The years of misdiagnosis, the lack of understanding, the endless wait lists, the stigma and the neglect. And more recently, the fight that I have been facing just to get suitable housing for my condition. This isn't just about my story. This is about the countless people with FND who are suffering in silence. The system continues to fail us all. For those who don't know, FND, Functional Neurological Disorder, is a condition that affects how the brain sends and receives signals to the body. It can cause seizures, weakness, paralysis, speech problems, fatigue, pain, you name it. It looks like any other neurological condition, but because it doesn't show up on scans, it's often completely dismissed. For years, people with FND are misdiagnosed, misunderstood, or told it's just stress, it's just all in our head. And that's where the first layer of harm begins, because when doctors don't believe you, it sets the tone for everything else that follows on from that. You start to feel invisible. You start to question your own reality. And while you're trying to survive day to day, you're also forced to become your own doctor, your own advocate, your own therapist, and apparently your own housing officer too. Now, when I was first diagnosed, I thought things would get better. I thought finally having a name for what was happening to me would mean that I would get some kind of support, some kind of treatment or understanding. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Getting diagnosed with FND, it often feels like you're being handed a label, and then you're being completely abandoned. You're being told to go home and maybe look up some videos online about how to figure it out yourself. And these are barely like any specialist services available. You'd be lucky to even get referred to them. And if you do, expect to wait months or even years to see anyone. I've heard from people who've been waiting for over a year just to see a therapist or physiotherapist who's trained to deal with FND. And in that time, symptoms worsen. People lose their independence, they lose their jobs, they lose their homes. Because the systems move slower than the condition does. People with FND fall through the crack every day. And there is so many people who fall through the crack in the UK healthcare system, not because we don't try, but because we're constantly ignored. And I want to talk about what's happening right now in my life, because it's the perfect example of how broken things are in the systems. After being discharged from hospital, instead of being moved into suitable accommodation for my condition, I was sent home to an upstairs bedroom, this room. This room being an upstairs bedroom for someone with a condition that affects my mobility, my balance, my ability to walk safely, it's not suitable. I was discharged to use a commode as a toilet, to wash using a bowl, to have food brought to me by carers multiple times a day, lacking any independence. And that's where it is in terms of where I've been. I've been stuck inside the same room day after day. It's not living, it's not surviving. It's being trapped inside four walls while the world carries on outside. I've been contacting housing over and over again. Every time I've been told the same thing. Someone will call me back. An email's been sent to the team. And every single time, I get nothing in reply. No call, no progress, no help. I was told to get a proper housing needs assessment that I would have to wait up to 3 months for. 3 months while I'm stuck in this upstairs room using a commode, unable to safely get downstairs or to the bathroom. So I did something that no one with a disability should have to do in the first place. Paid for an independent occupational therapy assessment myself. I paid for it out of my little money, the only money I have, that's meant for food and survival, because I couldn't wait any longer. And still, I've received nothing from the council or from housing. No movement, no response, no humanity. How is that okay? How could someone with a neurological disability be left to live like this in 2025? This isn't bureaucracy, it's neglect. This is what happens when disabled people become invisible to every system that there is, designed to protect us. The emotional toll that it takes is massive. Imagine waking up every single day knowing that you can't safely leave your room, or you can't leave your room at all. Knowing that even basic things like washing, using the bathroom, getting a meal, rely on other people and other systems that keep letting you down. You feel like you lose pieces of yourself one by one. Your freedom, your dignity, your sense of being human. And what makes it worse is the feeling that no one is listening to you. Every phone call ends with false promises. Every email feels like shouting into a void. And while I'm fighting to be heard, my body is fighting me too. FND doesn't just pause because the council's not called me back. The seizures still happen, the paralysis still happens, the exhaustion, the tremors, the pain, every single part of it. And yet somehow I'm still expected to manage everything myself, to organise assessments, chase housing officers, follow up with them endlessly, as if living with this complex neurological condition and the symptoms from it isn't enough. People with FND are already suffering every single day, and the fact that we're forced to suffer even more just because of the basic support being lacked is disgusting. It's not a small issue, it's systematic failure, and it's happening everywhere. People with FND are stuck in hospitals because there's nowhere suitable for them to go. Others are sent home to unsafe environments, just like I have been, and then we're forgotten, abandoned. Housing services don't understand neurological conditions. Healthcare services don't understand housing needs. And the result of this? People like me are trapped in limbo, falling through every possible gap that there is for us to fall through. We need an urgent change. We need local councils to provide and prioritise disabled housing, especially for the complex needs of someone like me with a complex neurological disorder. Occupational therapy assessments for someone in my condition should be fast-tracked and not delayed for months. We need communication between the healthcare services and the housing teams to actually work, because at this point, the system's broken, and it's leaving everyone trapped, unsafe, and forgotten. And above all, we need awareness. FND itself isn't rare. It's one of the most common reasons that people are referred to a neurology team, and yet most professionals barely even know themselves what it is. That lack of awareness filters into everything, from medical treatment, social care, to housing. And people don't see it, so they believe that it's not there, and the disbelief is growing and destroying lives. So I'm making this video. And I'm making this video because something has to change. I'm tired of watching people like myself with FND, people who are dealing with this, treated like an afterthought. We're not faking, we're not overreacting. We are human beings ourselves who deserve the dignity, safety, and proper care that everyone else does. No one should be discharged into an environment like I was, where they physically can't live in it. No one should have to pay for their own assessment just to be taken seriously. And no one should be stuck in an upstairs room using a commode because the system has turned them down and failed them at every turn. It's not just a story, it's a warning. If the system can fail one person such as myself this badly, it can fail anybody. So to everyone who's watching this video, please share the video, talk about FND, talk about how disabled people are being failed by the housing and medical systems within the UK and in other places, because silence is what keeps the cycle going. We deserve better than that. We need better than that, and we need it now. So thank you to anyone who's been listening, and thank you for anyone believing that people with FND deserve better. Awareness is the first step that we can take. But action is what changes lives. Action is what we need. Thank you.